6 o a las 7. Ahora terminamos más tarde y perdemos mucho tiempo para cargar la mercancía desde el otro puerto y llevarla hasta aquí.
Can't hear nothing here.
Response to the Guyanas. Sí. A ver, creo que Guyana se dice
I
en
can't
inglés.
say good morning over here.
Sí.
It's coming rumble.
Your audio is a bit muffled.
What is your country? ¿Sí puedo cambiar esto? Ay, no sirve. What is your country's response, reply to the referendum that took place in Venezuela on Sunday? ¿Él ya me está escuchando?
Is this speaker you have here? Why didn't put a proper speaker in?
Paulis, ¿sabes si él ya me está escuchando?
3, 4, 5. I can't hear you now. I can't hear Eddie. It's I'm hearing you very muffled.
Hello?
Like,
Ok. Listo, todo bien.
like the sound is distorted. Okay.
¿Sienten la cara? No, ¿no?
Hello, Mr. President. This is Natalia from France24. We met in Los Angeles. Are you hearing me well? Creo que no me escucha.
Take off that fan there, man.
Okay. Hello, good morning, Mr. President. This is Natalia from France24. Hi, how are you? We met in Los Angeles last year.
I remember I met you. Yes.
Thank you for your time for this interview. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Okay, we are about to start, so please bear with me for a moment, and I'll let you know once we are on air.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Tras largas e intensas horas de trabajo, la balsa está lista para zarpar.
¿Cómo es que es el usuario de iNews? ¿El servidor? BG. Ah, listo. Sí, creo que ya.
Pues que no alcanzo a ver, pero... Ahí está.
Tú me dices, Paulis. Listo. Bienvenidos a esta emisión de Exclusivo en France24. Yo soy Natalia Cabrera Parada y me acompaña el presidente de Guyana, Mohamed Irfaan Ali. Estamos en qué conti, en especiales, ¿cierto? Eventuales. ¿Dónde queda eso? Broadcast. Ya lo vi. Eventuales, 1. Gracias. Listo. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Lo mismo que pasa con los...
Voy a poner los trapos, pero no sé con qué hacerlo.
¿No hay masking?
Chicos, nos está esperando ya el presidente. Creo que me quiero quitar los zapatos. Si me quito los zapatos, ¿quedo muy bajita? No. ¿Cambié todo? Ya, negrita, ya. ¿Listos? Bienvenidos a esta emisión de Exclusivo en France24. Yo soy Natalia Cabrera Parada y me acompaña el presidente de Guyana, Mohamed Irfaan Ali, para hablar sobre el referendo no vinculante que tuvo lugar en Venezuela sobre un territorio que se disputa con Guyana, el Esequibo, una región de 160.000 kilómetros cuadrados rica en petróleo y minerales. Según el presidente venezolano Nicolás Maduro, la mayoría de los ciudadanos aprobó anexar la zona disputada al mapa como un nuevo estado llamado Guyana o Esequiba. No obstante, medios de comunicación locales reportaron baja participación. President Ali, thank you very much for your time for France24.
Thank you very much for having me.
Muchas gracias por invitarme.
What is your country's reply to the referendum that took place in Venezuela on Sunday?
Well, Guyana's response is very clear. In relation to the referendum, we understand that any country has a right to do a referendum on whatever they want. But we had serious concerns with questions in this referendum that sought to annex a major part of our territory and that sought to issue identification card for a major part of our territory. And in relation to this issue, these two issues, and the referendum itself, we went to the ICJ to seek provisional orders. And we are very pleased that the ICJ issued very strong orders. And in those orders, they made it very clear that in relation to these two questions, status quo remains. That is, Essequibo remains under the authority of Guyana, and Venezuela can do nothing to change this. Venezuela cannot annex Essequibo, and Venezuela cannot use any force or any such circumstances. They cannot use any force to annex or issue any identification card in relation to Essequibo, which belongs to Guyana.
President, the president of Venezuela, Maduro, as you must know, said on Monday that he will act on the annexation to the map of the region, even after, as you say, the International Court of Justice ordered Venezuela not to do so on Friday. So what are the next steps of your country?
Well, my country is a peaceful country. We believe in the rule of law. And if Venezuela act outside of the rule of law, then I think the international community must take this very seriously. We've already seen the OAS, the Commonwealth, CARICOM, France, many countries across the world issuing very strong statements to Venezuela, encouraging Venezuela to act in a very peaceful way, encouraging Venezuela not to act in a reckless or adventurous manner. So we are hoping that good sense will prevail and Venezuela will not act in a way that will disrupt the peace within this zone. But in the Western Hemisphere itself, the countries within this hemisphere has a responsibility to ensure that peace prevails. Brazil has already spoken, and most of the countries are supporting Guyana and supporting a peaceful resolution, and that peaceful resolution must come out of the process of the ICJ. So, notwithstanding this, we are working with our partners. We're working with the United States, the State Department. We're working with the Department of Defense to collaborate and to ensure that Guyana is not caught off guard and that we are prepared. Though our primary objective is to ensure that peace prevails in this zone, to ensure that we encourage Venezuela to act in a manner that is befitting of a country that has respect for the rule of law and has respect for international order.
Okay, so the call is for peace, but the final rule of the International Court of Justice is still years away. Will you leave the case just in the hands of the court, or what actions are you planning to take? Is there going to be any military actions?
We believe in the rule of law. We are a country that believes strongly in the rule of law. And we are going to await the ruling of the ICJ. We are subjecting ourselves to the outcome of the ICJ, and we are asking Venezuela to also respect the outcome of the ICJ and to participate fully in the process of the ICJ. Both Venezuela and Guyana agreed first in 1899 on the borders, Venezuela enacted in their local laws the agreement on the borders. We both respected the borders until the period when Guyana was going to independence. Venezuela raised objection, the Geneva Agreement was signed, and the Geneva Agreement provided that if the two countries could not have arrived at a consensus, a decision, then the United Nations Secretary General will determine the way forward. And the United Nations Secretary General determined that the ICJ is the way forward. Venezuela participated. They've already participated in the process of the ICJ. When they went to the court to argue that the court does not have jurisdiction, twice the court ruled against Venezuela that they have jurisdiction. So Venezuela cannot, because the court did not see rule in their favor, then decide that we're not going to abide by the outcome of the court, or we're not going to abide by the decision of the United Nations Secretary General, which is provided for in the Geneva Agreement.
President, is there a space to establish a dialogue based on the Geneva Pact?
Sorry, I think I lost you.
Okay, President, can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Okay, President, thank you. I would like to know if there is a still chance for dialogue based on the Geneva Pact.
Well, that we have gone past that. We have gone to the UNSG. The UNSG has determined the ICJ as the place for this controversy to be settled. So we are now subjecting ourselves completely to the outcome of the ICJ. However, Guyana, we are a peaceful country. We understand that Venezuela is our neighbor. We are home to many Venezuelan migrants. And we believe that, yes, we are open to communication. We have to coexist with each other. But we are saying that in that communication, in the process of dialogue, speaking to each other, we must both recognize that this controversy is before the ICJ, and it has to be settled before the ICJ. Therefore, there is no negotiations that can take place in relation to the controversy itself. That is before the court, it's before the ICJ. But we are open, of course, as good neighbors to dialogue on so many other important issues that we have to address as a region and address as neighbors.
President, and why do you think Nicolás Maduro makes this move at this moment? Is this like a populist move for the election of 2024? Or do you think it's a way out to the economic crisis after seeing the growth that your country has had?
I think there are many schools of thought. There are a lot of persons who believe that these moves by President Maduro are totally domestic, to ramp up his own support, to take away from the situation in Venezuela. But that is their problem. That is their internal politics. But we are very concerned that President Maduro and the government of Venezuela can use their own internal scenario and internal politics to create an instability within our region, to create fear and terror within the hearts and minds of their neighbors. Neighbors that are accommodating Venezuela now. Neighbors that are accommodating Venezuelan migrants now. We are providing health care, providing educational services. We have even changed our education module in some schools to cater for migrants who are coming in so that they would not lose access to education. And we're doing this, and we'll continue to do this because we believe in international order. We believe in a rule-based system. We believe in democracy. So we are concerned that the rhetoric out of Venezuela and the narrative from Venezuela and the questions in this referendum itself can create instability within the region. And that is our concern. We want to see democracy. We want to see prosperity for the people of Venezuela. We want to see their economic circumstances improving. We want to see a better life for them, because that is what a good neighbor should be. A good neighbor should want the best for their neighbors. And that is what Guyana wants. We want the best for Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. But we want the Venezuelan people to understand that
Paulis,
this
le hago igual otra porque como hay un
must
pedazo que
not
no me
be
escucho, entonces
used by the
podemos
Venezuelan
pasarnos un
government
poquitito.
to navigate their own local political circumstances and create instability for us. So it is in that context that I think, and the military officials joining with the political narrative in creating uneasiness on the border. And that is why we are taking a very strong position, and that is why we are talking to our allies and our friends and having ourselves in preparedness. We cannot be caught unprepared. We have to be prepared for any eventualities, because we are not dealing with a situation and a scenario here where you have a government that is sending a message of peace, or a government that is promoting peace. We have a government that is constantly giving a narrative that this Essequibo that is part of Guyana belongs to them, and by any means they should take Essequibo. If you look at the referendum itself, now there are many analysis. Our own analysis, what we are hearing, is that the turnout was very, very poor, very, very low. The Venezuelans are claiming, the government is claiming that they had a turnout of about 50%. That is highly questioned by everyone we have spoken to. But that itself, for decades, they are teaching their population that this territory belongs to us. And when you see such a low turnout, it is telling President Maduro something. It is telling President Maduro that we don't agree, that the majority of us who are the electorate in this country do not agree with this course of action that you're taking. We do not agree with the way in which you're handling the situation. And I hope President Maduro take that message very strongly, and also understand that the vast majority of people in Venezuela want to see peace remains within this region and within our borders.
Okay, President, and lastly and very briefly, I would like to know if these current tensions between Caracas and Georgetown are somehow affecting the operation of the U.S. ExxonMobil, and how big is the participation of this company?
Well, it's not only Exxon. Exxon is part of a consortium that includes CNOOC, a company out of China. It included Hess, who was now sold out to Chevron, but Hess, CNOOC, and Exxon. So, and many other companies from the Western Hemisphere and beyond, from the European Union, from UK, from the Arab world, who are working in Guyana. So it's not only Exxon. Recently, we went out to an auction for other blocks, and we had companies from all over the world participating in that auction. So this is not about a company. But I want to say that the behavior of Venezuela has not changed the attitude from any of our investors, including Exxon. It has not changed our push for the advancement and development of our country. We understand that part of the narrative from Venezuela is to create terror and fear within our country and within our investors, the minds of our investors, so that they can create a scenario where investment is stymied, or the development of Guyana is slowed down. But we have not seen this. We are encouraging all our investors and our population not to fear, because we are doing everything in accordance with the rule of law to ensure that this region remains a region of peace, but also preparing ourselves for any reckless behavior or adventurous behavior from Venezuela.
President of Guyana, Mohamed Irfaan Ali, thank you very much for this interview for France24.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here.
Y a ustedes, gracias por su sintonía. Continúen viendo France24. Gracias a todos. Gracias. Super guau. Ahora yo no sé ni qué hice, mira, yo nunca me conecté, yo llegué aquí como una loca.
Es que eso no, como
Ah, ¿a él? No, no te preocupes. Igual estuvo bien porque pues también así como que yo sabía cómo
Sí,
era
súper bien. A la próxima, Natalia,
para
que Camilo termine.
Claro.
Porque ya estaba terminando.
Pablo, gracias. Quedó como 3 minutos.
Pablo, ya va llegando Julián.
Listo,
¿Listo?
¿no? No, igual yo estoy corriendo.
Sí, él me dice, no, yo no creo que le
O
alcance.
sea,
Yo le
yo
dije,
la
pues
verdad,
las dos
yo la
entrevistas ya
verdad,
están.
yo he sacado
Buenas.
programas buenas.
Hola. ¿Listas? ¿Bien? Listo. Entonces, ya llegó Julián, démosle a las entrevistas, que es la prioridad. Ya acabamos de terminar de grabar la de Natalia. Y esa ya está traducida, es montarle la rotulación. Y mi voz, o sea, toca montarle la ¿cierto?
Sí, sí, sí.
Ah, listo, entonces aprovechémosla de una. Listo.
Eso, Camilo lo tradujo o me traduzco. Yo misma me puedo traducir igual si algo. Listo.
Hola, Paulillo. Cuando le termine de leer Natalia, me haces señas y yo te digo que hay que hacerle a la entrevista, ¿vale?
Ay, perfecto, Mauricio.
Tú me puedes poner a mí
Sí,
nombre
porque
y
quitarle el logo porque
para yo hacer la
es el
traducción.
logo nuevo.
Oh, sí.
No, y aquí sí,
Pero,
yo se fue.
pero me toca primero pedirle al ingeniero que me ponga la audio ya.
Perfecto. Kevin, pues llama y lo mismo para que baja. Ah, porque está en la cabina de traducción. Camilo, ¿cómo va?
¿Cómo se llama la que tengo que hacer una vez? La que tengo que ponerle ahí.
Rafa, y mírate a ver si
¿Cómo se llama eso?
para poner
¿El reflejo?
sí, se está pegando muchísimo. ¿Verdad?
Pero
Y esa vaina de esto es que es exclusivo, es marica, uno debería tener el tiempo para uno poder.
esto que ya sabía,
Espérate que me volvió a
¿cómo se enteramos? Sería que como con masking y con las telas.
pedir mi negro.
Y
Que yo no sé si las telas sean muy pesadas para el masking. O el Inge dijo que de pronto habían cartones.
¿Quién manda la música? ¿Tú?
Que solamente esta partecita. Porque ya como.
¿Para materiarla?
No, para pegarle el cartón y ya no se refleja.
Sí, sí, sí.
Se refleja el azul. Bueno, no se ve
allí, aquí ya tiene que ir leyendo. Este tarro de quién es y este casco. Se lo encargo ahorita. Entonces ponle play. Ahí me escucho yo mismo. Uy. Y esto no se les mete a veces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sí, o sea, no
¿Lo digo
debería
yo
ser
mismo?
así. La verdad no
La verdad, no, weón.
debería ser eso. O sea,
No, allá afuera no sé, como esto rojito. Pero sí,
No.
ese azul es
Entonces,
muy-
a la salida del artist, mándale
Ese gato
a la salida del
cartón.
artist,
Véalo aquí.
mándamela acá. Que está por un... Pero acuérdate que esto viene de abajo, ¿no?